Hi yogis! Today's Vinyasa style flow class will focus on opening and strengthening through the thighs, spine, shoulders, and chest. We will be exploring the peak pose of wheel today. I'll be offering some modifications to that pose and many other poses as we go along today. If you have a block or maybe a pillow, that may prove helpful for our class today. If not, no worries. We're going to begin class today lying down flat on our backs. If you do happen to have a block or a small pillow nearby you, we can start with a lovely chest opener. Positioning the block just underneath your shoulder blades as you recline down over it. May take some adjusting to find a comfortable spot. The back of your head should still be able to reach down comfortably to the mat. And when you arrive, you can open up your arms wide, maybe the palms face up. You can have your legs long extended down on the mat, or an alternative is to bring the soles of your feet together into butterfly, knees out wide and really opening up through the hips as well here. Just arrive here in this pose, feeling the gentle opening up through the chest if you're using the block, and opening up through the hips if you took Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly legs, and breathe into these areas. If you're taking traditional Shavasana here, just flat on your back with your legs extended long, do a full body scan from the tips of your toes to the top of the crown of your head, looking for areas of tightness or tension. And just notice and breathe into those areas. Let's take just a couple breaths in and out here together to start class. Inhaling through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. As always, yogis, I invite you throughout class today to take the poses and the stretches and the strengthening that works for you and your body as it is today, and let go of the rest. Take one more breath here. And we'll begin to release out of this pose. If you are on a block, just roll to one side, moving the block out from underneath your shoulder blades, coming to rest flat on your back and hugging your knees in toward your chest, giving them a squeeze. Maybe rocking back and forth side to side to release the lower back. From here, we're going to make our way up to tabletop pose on hands and knees, maybe rocking up, crossing at the ankles, and coming to meet in tabletop pose. Shoulders aligned over wrists, hips aligned over knees. From here, begin to walk your hands out in front of you, coming down into our puppy pose. Continue to walk your hands out until your forehead can come either down to the mat or it can also come down to a block. Stretching out through the chest. Perhaps bring your palms together and send them up to the back to the nape of your neck for an additional tricep stretch. Release your palms back down to the mat if you had them overhead, and begin to walk your hands back into tabletop pose. Tuck through the heels and send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. In this first down dog, take a moment to pedal out through the heels, maybe stretching through one leg and then the other. Pushing in through your index finger and thumb. See if you can really straighten through your back, even if that means bending your knees. And sending your hips up just a bit higher. Coming to stillness in our down dog. Begin to look forward and roll your way into plank pose, shoulders stacked over wrists. One long line from the crown of your head to your heels. And release back into downward facing dog. Let's roll back and forth from plank to down dog 2 more times. Inhale, roll forward into plank, hold, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Once more, inhale forward into plank, hold, and exhale back into downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank and keeping your elbows locked in as close to your sides as possible, lower all the way down to your belly. From here, tent your fingers out either side of you for a wider cobra pose. We're going to come up, lifting our chest and our head off the mat just a bit with wide tented fingers, really using our back strength here to lift us. And exhale, release down, bring your hands next to your chest and push up and back into downward facing dog. From here, look forward between your hands and begin to slowly walk to the top of the mat. Keep your feet about hip width distance, really release through your neck and begin to slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll up to standing. Nice and slow, your head will be the last to arrive. Once you arrive here in your mountain pose, lift your fingertips up to the sky and go ahead and grab on to opposite elbows overhead and breathe in, stretch up, and begin to lean toward the right. Big left side body stretch. From here, still clasping onto opposite elbows up overhead, we're going to swing our torso slowly all the way down toward the left and come up on the other side. Let's switch and go the other direction, leaning over to the left and down toward the right and come back up to standing. Release the clasps of your elbows and swan dive down into forward fold. Halfway lift, palms come to your shins or your thighs, nice straight back. And exhale, fold fingertips to the mat. From here, we're going to step our left foot back into our low lunge, planting through the hands. Left foot comes all the way to the back of the mat, lower through the left knee. Right knee stacked over right ankle. Once you have your alignment feeling right, go ahead and lift your hands to the sky, low lunge. From here, interlace your hands behind your head and really start to release and open up through the chest, making sure your elbows are staying wide out to the sides here. Maybe look up. Release your hands. Left hand comes down to the mat, right hand up for an easy twist. Stay here or maybe add on a quad stretch. Reaching back for your left foot with your right hand, opening up through the chest just a bit more, maybe looking over your right shoulder. Release both hands back down to frame your front foot. Step back into your plank pose. Lower all the way down to your belly, keeping your elbows in tight. Let's take that wide tented finger cobra again. Fingers out to the sides. Lift up through your chest and your head, using your back strength. And exhale, release. Bring your hands back in toward your chest. Push up and back into downward facing dog. Once in your down dog, step your left foot forward between your hands, lower through the right knee, and set up for low lunge on this side. Left knee stacked over left ankle. Hands lift to the sky, low lunge. Interlace your hands behind your head once more, keeping the elbows wide. Lift and open through your chest. Exhale, release, right hand down to the mat, left hand lifts for an easy twist. If you took the quad stretch on the other side, I invite you to do so here, reaching your left hand back to grab toward your back foot, bending into your back knee. And if you have captured your back foot, really begin to look over toward the left and open up through the chest. Release both hands to frame your front foot. Step back into plank pose. Lowering all the way down to our bellies. Let's go through cobra again. Fingers tented out wide. Lifting your chest, lifting your head. Exhale, release. Bring your hands in and push up and back into downward facing dog. Once in your down dog, inhale your right leg up and exhale, step the right leg through between your hands. From here, we're going to set up for warrior one. Spinning your back heel down at a 45-degree angle, putting a nice bend into your front knee. Come up into warrior one, hands lift toward the sky. From here, bending at the elbows, grabbing your right elbow with your left hand for a bit of a tricep stretch, lifting up through the chest. From here, we're going to release into warrior two. Release the hold of your elbow, spin your back heel parallel to the short edge of the mat, and extend your hands out wide in either direction, palms face down. See if you can sit just an inch deeper into your warrior two. Gaze over your front middle finger. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Right hand lifts to the sky. Maybe look up. From here, straighten through your front leg. Reverse triangle. From here, we're going to go into full triangle pose, bringing your hands out to either side. Reaching as far forward with your right hand as you can before bringing your right hand down to rest on your shin, on the floor, or on a block. Left hand lifts up to the sky. Shoulders stacked. Making sure to keep rolling that left shoulder open even more. From here, we're going to go into some arm circles. Bringing the left arm forward, bicep by the ear, rolling it all the way down and back, and returning up to the sky. Let's go through two more of those big arm circles here together. Exhaling down and up, back to the sky. Forward, down, back, and returning into triangle pose. From here, look down, put a slight bend into your front knee, and windmill both hands to frame your front foot, stepping back into downward facing dog. Find stillness in this down dog. Look forward, and we're going to bring our forearms down to the mat into dolphin pose from here. Bringing one forearm at a time, or you can try to do both forearms at the same time, keeping them parallel to one another. Dolphin pose is an amazing shoulder strengthener. It's just like downward facing dog, but on your forearms. Your head is not touching the mat, and you can start to try to walk your feet in even closer to your chest. Holding here for just one more breath. From here, we're going to come into Sphinx pose, so you can roll forward, bringing your chest through your parallel hands and releasing your hips to the ground. Sphinx pose, up on your forearms, pulling your chest through and energetically lifting the crown of your head to the sky. Release your Sphinx pose. Push back into plank and release your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Once in your down dog, inhale, lift your left leg to the sky, and exhale, step your left leg through between your hands, setting up for warrior one on this side, spinning your back heel down at a 45-degree angle, bending through the front knee, coming up into warrior one, hands lift to the sky. Let's take our elbow stretch on this side, bending through our left elbow. Grab a hold of your left elbow with your right hand. Push into your hands with the back of your head to release your chest up, forward, lifting even higher. And exhale, release to warrior two, spinning your back heel down parallel to the short edge of the mat. Hands extend wide in either direction, bending deep through your front knee, warrior two. Inhale your left hand up and back, reversing your warrior. Straightening through your front leg for reverse triangle. And let's come into full triangle pose on this side, hands out wide, reaching your left hand as far forward as you can before bringing it down to rest on your shin, the floor, or a block. Right hand lifts to the sky, shoulders stacked. Maybe playing with pushing your right hand back even a bit further to open up through the chest. And from here, let's do our arm circles on this side. Bringing that right arm forward, bicep by the ear, spinning it all the way down and around and back up toward the sky. 2 more times, just like that. Bicep by the ear, all the way down, around, and back up to the sky. Once more, bicep by the ear, fingers down, back, and up to the sky. From here, look down, begin to frame your front foot with your hands, stepping back into downward facing dog. From this down dog, let's release into our dolphin pose again, bringing both forearms down to the mat, parallel to one another, strengthening through the shoulders. See if you can tiptoe your feet just a bit closer to your chest. Great job, yogis. From here, release your hips down. Let's come back into our Sphinx pose one more time. Forearms pushing energetically into the mat, hips on the mat, pushing into your forearms to bring your chest forward, crown of the head lifting. And release back, push into plank pose, and hips go up and back into downward facing dog. Take a long, deep inhale through your nose in this down dog. And let it go through the mouth. From here, we're going to roll forward into plank pose again and lower all the way down to our bellies. extending our fingers out wide for our tinted cobra once more, pushing into our fingertips, lifting our chest and head. And exhale, release. Forehead comes to the mat. Interlace your hands at your tailbone. We'll come up into locust pose here. On your next inhale, lift your head. Lift your interlaced fingers and arms, and maybe, if it feels okay on your low back today, lift your feet off the mat. See if you can lift just an inch higher in your locust pose. And exhale, release. Feel free to take that locust pose once more, or if you're feeling open in your shoulders and you'd like to try bow pose, begin to bend through your knees and see if you can capture the outside edges of your feet or your ankles with your hands. If you've grabbed onto your feet or ankles with your hands, begin to kick energetically into your hands to lift your chest and head up off the mat. Make sure your knees aren't splaying out wide. Keep them energetically drawing toward one another. One more breath here. And exhale, release. From here, we'll go into a deep shoulder opener stretch. Bending through the right elbow, bring your right arm about at a 90-degree angle out to the side. And we're going to slowly begin to roll onto our right hip. You can use your left hand for support here, pushing into the mat to find a good level of stretch for you. If you'd like to go deeper, you can also take a bind with that left hand, bringing it to your mid-back and opening up a bit more. This is a big shoulder stretch on the right. Breathing into the shoulders. Great, and release back to center, nice and slow. Let's take it right away to the other side. This time cactusing your left arm, 90-degree angle out from your shoulder. Rolling slowly onto your left hip, using your right hand for support. Finding the level of stretch that works for you today. Maybe taking that bind with the right hand to the mid-back. And breathe here. From here, release back to center, slowly, and begin to make your way onto your back. So you can flip over. Once you arrive here, bring the soles of your feet to the mat. We're going to set up for bridge pose. Hands along sides. Your hands should be able to just tickle the backs of your heels to ensure proper alignment. Once you have that, begin to push into your feet to lift your hips up toward the sky, keeping your knees drawing in, maybe interlacing your hands beneath your tailbone, bringing your shoulder blades closer together and really beginning to lift and push through your forearms to lift your hips even higher. Exhale, release, back down. From here, feel free to do bridge pose once more. If you're feeling open and wheel pose is in your practice, or you would like to try wheel pose, Urdhva Dhanurasana, we're going to move into that next, and I will guide you through. Starting the same way as bridge pose, feet about hip width distance. Your hands will come by your ears, fingers pointing toward your shoulders, and really hug your elbows in. Put a slight arch in your low back and lengthen through your tailbone as you carefully lift to the top of your head. Drawing your shoulder blades toward your spine, making sure your knees aren't drifting outwards as you press evenly through your hands and feet to lift up, bringing your chest forward. Head lifted off the mat. Continue to try to bring your chest as forward as you can, maybe coming up to your tiptoes. Great job, yogis. To come out, first lower the top of your head down, followed by your hips. Pause here for a moment, maybe windshield wiper your knees side to side to release the tension. And finally, we'll all meet hugging our knees in to our chest, giving them a squeeze. Grab hold of your right knee, extend your left leg out long on the mat. We'll come into spinal twist on this side. Hug your right knee in and over towards your armpit. And exhale, release that knee all the way over to the left. Right arm comes all the way out to the side. And maybe look over your right shoulder, making sure both shoulders are still in contact with the mat. Release back to center, bring both knees in. Let's switch to the other side. This time grab hold of your left knee. Extend your right leg out long on the mat, bringing that left knee as close to your armpit as you can. And exhale, release that left knee all the way over to the right. Left hand comes out to the side. Maybe look toward your left hand. And make sure both shoulder blades are still in contact with the mat. And breathe. Exhale, release. Bring both knees back in toward your chest. One last hip stretch here. You can grab on to your knees and simply bring them out a bit wider. Or if you'd like to go into happy baby here, I invite you to reach down between your knees and grab the outside edges of your feet, sending the soles of your feet up toward the sky. Maybe rocking back and forth a bit, side to side. And exhale, release. From here, we'll be coming into our final resting pose of Shavasana. So extend your feet out long, hands out wide to either side. Really take up space here, palms face up. Maybe begin to close down through the eyes or just have a soft gaze. Release through the forehead, release through the jaw. Take a long, deep breath in through the nose and let it go through the mouth. Once more, inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Nothing to do here, yogis, but take these next few moments in stillness. As always, I invite you to stay here in your Shavasana for as long as your day allows. If you are ready to come back into the rest of your day, begin to slowly wiggle through your fingers and your toes, bringing this movement into your wrists and your ankles. Maybe reaching your hands up overhead for a long full body stretch. And exhale, release, rolling over to your right side into the fetal position, using your bicep as a pillow. Taking a moment here to consider what energy you'd like to bring into the rest of your day. Pushing into the hands, slowly come up to seated. Keeping the eyes closed or a soft gaze, bring your hands to heart center. Thank yourself for taking this time on your mat today. Thank you for joining me for this class. Have a wonderful day. Be well. Namaste.